Hey there, it's Leona. Welcome to Zen Mindfulness Shodo. Today, we're gonna practice Shodo meditation while focusing on a Hiragana character for Nu. So, let's begin our beautiful journey together. When you write a character, imagine a square about the size of the character that you are gonna write like this. First, I'm gonna write it. Then I'm gonna explain the points and tips for writing the character beautifully in detail. Let's explain in detail. The first stroke starts from a point a bit lower than, and to the right of the center point of the top left square. It's not straight, but it's a line slanting to the left like this. And to put it extremely, it curves to the left, just a little bit, while moving downward to the right. As for how far down to the right it goes, it's about the same height as the center point of the bottom left square. The ending point is a bit to the left of the middle vertical line. For this line, don't press too hard at the starting point. Gradually increase pen pressure as you move down, making it thicker towards the bottom for a more beautiful appearance. Now, from the end point of this first stroke, move the pen up to the right like this. The second stroke begins on the right side of the middle vertical line, a bit higher than the end point of the first stroke. For example, I'll write examples here. Some people start the first and second strokes at the same height, like this. Conversely, some might start the second stroke from a lower position than the first stroke's starting point. But personally, I think making the starting point of the second stroke a little bit higher than that of the first stroke makes the entire character look more confident. Generally in calligraphy, it's common to write everything slanting upwards to the right, as it makes the entire character look more dignified. If it slants downwards to the right, not just for Japanese characters, but also for graphs and other things, it doesn't look good, as if bad things are decreasing, which is fine. But good things like abundance or happiness should increase gradually towards the future. So it's more hopeful if there's more in the future than now, giving a sense of hope for the future when slanting upwards to the right. Now for this second stroke, it's at about a 60-degree angle, going downward to the left. This line, conversely, is like this, curving down or to the right. As for how far down it goes, it's slightly lower than the end point of the first stroke, on the left side. From here, it curves down and goes up to the upper left. Then from around here, it gradually curves upwards in a circular motion towards the upper right, passing through a position a bit lower than the starting point of the first stroke, and lower than the starting point of the second stroke. Then goes up to the upper right, and then down to the lower right. But where it goes down is about where the space on the left and right of the square box looks the same. So the space to the left of this leftmost point of the character and the space to the right of the rightmost point should be about the same width. It curves down from there, and when it reaches about the same height as the starting point of the first stroke, it goes left, curves up to make a loop, and then gently angles down to the lower right. The lowest point on the right side is slightly higher than the lowest point on the left side, which is this turning point. If it goes lower than this point, the whole character will look like it's slanting down to the right, which doesn't look very nice. If I write an example here, it will look like this. If the right side looks lower, it doesn't look very nice. So please be careful not to make it slope down to the right, even if it's just slightly. However, if it turns at a quite high position on the right like this, the entire character won't look balanced either. So while it might look the same at a glance, if you can turn it at a position just slightly higher than the lowest point on the left side, the overall balance of the character will look good and beautiful. Lastly, for the loop part created by the intersection of these lines, if the shape is like this, round, this might not be a good example, but something like this. If you write it in a perfectly round shape like this, it will look like a rounded character called marumoji in Japanese, and give the impression of a somewhat childish writing. It looks cute, but for those who want to write a normal-looking this hiragana character, making the loop part slightly flattened horizontally like this will give a more adult-like impression of this character. Also, pay attention to this position. Balance the left and right positions where it curves. Practice writing it in a square like this, and be conscious of turning at a position where the left and right spaces are about the same, to avoid writing this kind of shape. For example, the upper one would be turning around here, and the lower one would be going too far to the right, like this. Which might be because you haven't practiced writing it in a balanced way within such a square. So why not try practicing writing it in a balanced position within a square box like this? Why not try practicing writing this character that you're satisfied with, and keeping these points and tips in mind? The key points for writing hiragana characters, as explained in the video, are concisely summarized in this book in a similar manner. The book allows you 3 pages to practice each character. It can be purchased on Amazon. See the link in the description. I'm gonna practice 1 page of this workbook this time, but you're welcome to practice as much as you want. If you're practicing with a pen, I recommend that you place a few pieces of paper under the page that you're writing on, so that the ink doesn't bleed onto the page under it. Alright, let's get started.